The name's Nukem, Duke Nukem. You know I've got balls of steel. I wouldn't be saying that unless I was here on Nerd Radio, because they've got balls of steel too. Hail to the Nerd Radio, baby.
That's right, more Nerd Radio. You can, of course, get us as a podcast on WRIF.com or wherever you get your podcast as part of the BPod Studios network. But most importantly, you can find us online at NerdRadio101.com and on your social media at NerdRadio101. Chuck Bean, Al Beck, and James all hanging out for another week of nerd stuff, nerd news. I'm sure you guys have heard all about Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
And all the woes for that particular game.
Lots of them.
I can't remember a game that they literally had to give refunds for. It was so broken.
No Man's Sky, I believe they ended up giving refunds for.
Did they really?
At least I know I have a friend that got a refund on No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Were they giving refunds on Fallout 76?
That's a good question. I don't know. I didn't play it.
Because that was the only one that I've really been burned by that I was like, should I go get a refund?
Right.
And at that point, I was like, you know what, Bethesda, you're not even worth my time.
Well, this time last year, we were bitching about WWE 2K 2020 and how bad that game was. And
that was that was an abomination of digital programming or whatever you want to call it. That was just what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like you took a video game and you dumped nuclear waste on it, and you have the abominable video game, Revenge of the Abominable Video Game.
Right. But yeah, the for those that aren't aware, the Cyberpunk 2077 game that everyone has been waiting for, if you have a console version, it is so full of glitches and is so broken, and they're going to have to do so much work to make it work on the console that now it's turned into a thing where if you bought it digitally, PlayStation pulled it off the PlayStation store.
Yeah, out of the store completely.
Yeah, and if you bought it digitally, you can get a refund on the game. I was at a GameStop last weekend just finishing up some Christmas shopping, and I saw they had just stacks of the Xbox and the PlayStation version, like new versions of it, just sitting on the counter behind him. And I was like, man, you imagine waking up Christmas morning to the console version of Cyberpunk 2077 and it being that bad?
Well, it's a big bummer, but I feel like the people that are having the issues are the people like me who don't play your systems very often. You don't play it as much, so you probably still have one of the original, like, OG.
Sure.
Like for me, I have an Xbox One that's like when it first launched.
Yeah.
That it was bought for me by my fiance, but I don't play it that often, so it's still in really good running condition. But I feel like if I were to put that game in there,
right,
it wouldn't work. Because it's too new, the graphics and stuff aren't there.
Andy Green's been saying that he's got it on his PlayStation 4 Pro and hasn't had a single issue with it.
That's the thing, too, is it's very spotty because, I know that if you've got a PC version, a lot of my friends that have the PC versions are perfecly happy with it.
Yeah. So Robbie Landis is playing it on a PC.
Al, hit the button.
No!
He said, Rob.
He's going to get it. He's running around. He's going to get it here.
Yeah. Oh, no!
There we go. Yeah, so that guy, he plays it on, I don't want to say his name again to make Chuck have to run around and click the button. But he plays it on PC, and it's working fine for him. But Callie, she's been playing it.
Yeah, and didn't even get out of the character creator.
Yeah, so she had to get a refund from Steam for it. So it's weird. It's hit or miss, and I think a lot of it depends on your hardware and how powerful of a machine you're trying to play the game on.
Well, right. This also goes back to something that we've discussed on this show about this particular game and things that we've brought up in the past as well, is don't release it until it's ready.
Right.
When we were looking at Red Dead Redemption 2 getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, we were saying it even then, like, I want this game. It's frustrating that we don't have it yet, but if it's not ready, don't release it yet. I said that about Red Dead Redemption 2. I also said that about the Final Fantasy VII remake,
Yeah.
Just don't release it till it's ready, and that's what happened. They rushed it, and it failed.
And I think part of the problem, too, is when they announced that they had to push it back the last time, I think there was death threats and stuff being sent out to the CD Projekt Red people, right? Or if they were alluding
that sounds
that there was going to be a longer delay. It's like the gaming community, to me, is such a hard community to please.
Yeah.
Like, you can't please anybody. I feel like you can't please any of them, no matter what you do. It's either, okay, release the game!
Right.
And then you release the game, like, this game is broken! Give me a refund. You're like, well, we told you we needed to do some more work on it.
Right.
But you threatened to kill all of our developers.
Yeah.
So what do you want us to do?
That's an extension of the internet generation and the internet community, because that's exactly how the internet is.
Yeah, wants the instant gratification of it.
But what I have seen of the game when it works, it looks phenomenal. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like, if they get it all fixed and ready by like the spring, and then they can kind of relaunch it.
Yeah, some patches or whatever, and
it'll probably be one of the games that we'll be talking about at the Game Awards next year.
Yeah.
Once it's playable.
Somebody in the Twitch chat is saying like the dongs were popping out. Yeah, so there's a glitch in there.
I forgot to ask you about that because as soon as I saw that was the thing, I was like, well, James is going to run up and buy that game immediately.
So like to me, that's not a glitch. Like that is part of the fun.
People walking around with their dongs just hanging out.
Yeah, like I'm a super futuristic cybernetic punk.
Right.
Look at my wiener. I made you look. Gotcha. And walking around trying to fight other futuristic cybernetic punks.
Right.
But my wiener's out.
Everybody's in the future. There are no zippers on pants.
Yeah, this is just how I distract them before I blow their brains out. The last thing you see is my wiener. That's like my thing as a hitman in Cyberpunk. That's what it's going to be, my thing as a hitman in Cyberpunk. Can I be a hitman in Cyberpunk?
You're going to be disappointed when they patch it and you can't have your wiener hanging out anymore.
Man. The last thing a victim sees is James's dick.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up Red Dead Redemption, Al, because I also had a story that if you're playing Red Dead Online, they've put a special holiday kind of event in. It's not so much an event as you can they give you a coupon for a free coat.
Oh, a free coat.
For the holidays.
And a little Christmas present.
Yeah. You can get a free coat, and you can take advantage of seasonal sales at the gunsmiths.
Is it a Santa coat? It'd be cool if we gave you like a Santa coat. I'd run around in Red Dead as Santa Claus.
I don't think it is. I think it's just that you can go and choose a coat. Like it's like you can have you can get your cowboy a Christmas present of a new coat.
They probably wouldn't want to make it too silly.
It would have been funny if it was a Santa coat.
Like if you buy a whole Santa outfit and you roll around as Santa, then you hold up stagecoaches and stuff as Santa. That'd be a blast.
It'd be amazing. You'd have the Santa gang. Everybody wearing their Santa clothes.
But you have like elves.
Yeah.
It's like Santa and his merry men. It's a posse of elves.
I would play Red Dead Online if I could join the Santa gang. That would be amazing.
That'd be
fun.
It's
like, what was it, like 6 months ago we were talking about how there were clown gangs?
Yeah, I know. You loaned me the game and I went in there.
Check out the clown gangs.
By the time I got in there, the clown gangs are gone. It's just plain old cowboys.
Yep. Well, James is the only one here that has any foot in the pool of Fortnite. However, I do know plenty of people in our chat and plenty of people listen to the podcast, listen to or watch
play
Fortnite.
Yeah. It's a hugely popular game, so it'd be a shock to find somebody who has not played.
Al's applauding me, my brain not firing.
And that's the difference between Al and I. I'm just going to go with the flow and ignore it.
You're helping.
Yes.
Al's enjoying.
Drawing attention to the mistake.
Well, they're adding more Marvel characters to Fortnite.
It's what I've been doing the entire history of this podcast.
It's true.
How many times Chuck has flubbed an intro and wanted to stop and start again, and I was like, no, we are not editing this out. And I would keep talking to the point where it's like it would be impossible to edit, so that had to be the intro.
Yeah.
Like, we are not that kind of podcast. We don't do retakes.
So there's a new pack called Marvel Royalties and Warriors.
It's the Frank Sinatra of podcasts.
We'll do it live. There's a new Fortnite pack you can buy called Marvel Royalty and Warriors, and it gives you skins for the Black Panther, the Taskmaster, from Marvel's Avengers, and Captain Marvel.
Cool characters. Nobody I'm dropping any money on.
Yeah. The video for it is kind of neat, seeing all the different Fortnite people do the Wakanda Forever as the Black Panther shows up. And Brie Larson, who plays Captain Marvel in the MCU, actually tweeted her Nintendo Switch with the Marvel Royalty and Warriors pack on it, saying she was excited to play as herself in Fortnite.
I think it'd be cool to play with yourself in a video game, don't you? I would think it would be a blast. Because then people are like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm just playing with myself in Fortnite. What do you mean playing with yourself? I mean, I'm playing. I'm Brie. I play Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and I'm playing with myself.
You know what, though? He makes a lot of sense. If I was Brie Larson, I'd play with myself, too.
Yeah, I'd set up mirrors, too. And make sure it's on Twitch. It's recording. Like, it's going to be well-documented playtime.
You guys are the worst. You guys...
Why? Because we'd have fun playing with ourselves in a video game? You're going to tell me you wouldn't play with yourself in a video game?
I'm Al Beck, and I play with myself whenever I get a chance.
See?
I mean, when I make a wrestling game, I do make sure to make my own character so I can play with myself.
Yeah, see?
Oh, absolutely. So. Absolutely. I'll do that in Madden, too. I like to go deep playing with myself. Just go deep, as I can.
I've heard Al goes real deep. So deep, you'll put your ass to sleep.
He's elbow deep sometimes.
Elbow deep, wow.
He's elbow deep into that Madden game.
Yeah.
Oof.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the new pack.
Fortnite.
Fortnite.
So, as I teased earlier, the new Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has a zombie mode in it because most Call of Duty
tell me more about the zombie mode. This might get me on the Cold War train. No pun intended.
Part of the zombie mode is that they have something called plague hounds, which are like zombie dogs.
Yeah, are they like big? They're almost like werewolf fish. Aren't they?
And what you can do is you can get a particular weapon that will allow you to make some of the zombies you can not so much control them, but they won't attack you anymore. They'll attack other zombies.
Oh, okay.
And you can use this weapon on the dogs to make them docile, and then you can walk up and you can pet them.
So you're not just petting a regular dog. You're petting like a dog from hell.
You're petting a zombie dog.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it says you need to turn on the power and forge the Pack-a-Punch machine, which is the iconic zombies device used to upgrade the damage output of your weapons. It can be used to apply an alternative ammo type to your weapon. There are 4 ammo effects to choose from, but you'll need to select brain rot if you want to indulge in a petting.
Interesting. So they're gonna have like a zombie mode, like the old school zombie mode, where it's like the horde of zombies.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
That's
and
fun.
We talked about, didn't they? They added the zombie mode to.
Yeah, Warzone. They had a weird zombie mode, which was kind of fun, but
I thought it was cool that like if you got killed, then you got to play as a zombie.
Yeah, then coming back as a zombie is fun.
Yeah,
because then you kill 2 other people and then you're back in the game.
Right.
But it's still, I was like, either I'm being overrun by little kids as zombies, or I'm being overrun by little kids with guns.
Yeah.
So either way, I'm still getting pwned.
Yeah, as I said, once you have brain rot equipped to your gun, bullets have a chance to turn a zombie hound into an ally for a brief period. You've got about 10 to 15 seconds to run up and press the square button on the PlayStation and interact with it.
I wonder if that's an achievement.
It should be.
Like make that an achievement.
It sounds like it is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Valiant Summers says that mode kind of sucked in the Twitch chat. Why was that?
Yeah, tell us, Valiant Summer. Why is the zombie mode
circle
not
back
cool?
to that when we get a response from him?
Yeah, for sure. Something else I had in here is I know they talked about this briefly on the Checkpoint podcast last week because I got to be on it again. Those guys can't get rid of me anymore.
You're like herpes.
I am. I'm the herpes of Checkpoint Daily.
You're like some nerdy herpy.
Yep.
Nerpies.
Yeah.
You got nerpies.
Oh, like a nerpies in the building. Here we go.
But Twitch has banned a couple of words online that you no longer can't say. The words specifically, which I won't say while we're on Twitch, but are used when they're used in derogatory context to somebody's sexual connotation.
Which I think will be okay because this would be a segment that would
we're not calling
be used
somebody that
to insult anybody. These are just terms that we can't technically use on stream, kind of in a malicious way. Yeah, so you can't maliciously use the words virgin, incel, or simp on Twitch anymore, which I don't know. I don't see any problem with that. Yeah, I mean, I've used the term simp as a joke, like making jokes about people that might simp out for me in my stream, which please guys don't do that. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of weird. But yeah, like simp, incel, and virgin. Like people using the term virgin that often. I don't know. Is that like the new insult? Like you virgin, you lame old virgin, and I'm not using that in a real way before we get a ban here on the channel. Exactly. You're actually not referring to anybody. Yeah, I'm not calling anybody that. You're right. I know everybody that's on the show has lost their virginity. At least I'm fairly positive on that. Well, it's one of those things that, I hope if you've got those words banned that you have the worse words bans. Yes. the N-word or calling somebody who's queer the F word. Yeah. Like I hope you can get in trouble for that if you can get in trouble for this. Because, you can get away with calling people those terms on Instagram. Because I had somebody pop in one of my live streams on Instagram. Really? And I blocked her. Yeah. And then I reported her, and Instagram's like, we've investigated your report, and we found that there's no issues. And I'm like, how can somebody just pop into someone's live stream and use the F word for a homosexual? Right. And that's okay. That really upset me. Yeah, that's you can't have nipples on Instagram. Yeah. But you can get away with that. Use that term. It's just weird. That's some dumb shit. But yeah, so like in terms of this, if people are really using those terms in such a bad way, which I don't know, I've never ran a stream where I've had thousands of people in there. Like I feel like a lot of that stuff is things that e-girls have to deal with in their chat. Yeah. But people coming in and ragging on their audience. Yeah, so I don't really encounter that all that much. And plus, I feel like the community's that we, cater to or that we provide content for don't use those terms. It's more like, because I know somebody called me toxic because I do my one-man tap dance extravaganza in my game.
Sure.
But the title of the tap dance extravaganza is FU, that I do it at the end. I usually give the camera the middle fingers, but I don't consider myself like a toxic gamer. Like I might have one or two bits that comes across as super toxic.
Yeah.
But I'm not the whole time.
I feel like if you watch your stream, then you can tell that it's part of like the character that you're playing. It's like Shock Jock Radio kind of thing. Like that's not who you are.
Yeah.
That is a character you are playing because it's kind of funny, and much like watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like I understand that this behavior is not publicly something that you want to do.
It's not acceptable, and it's not really the reputation that you want.
Yeah.
But for me, it's something that's funny at the moment because, when the game that I play, you actually killed somebody because you'll have one viewer after they die.
Yeah,
instead
exactly.
Of you don't have that one viewer when you kill bots.
Right.
And sometimes those viewers will linger. And I like to just really rub that salt in the wound that you got killed by somebody not very good at a video game that nobody cares about. So I put on a little tap show. And then
Valiant Summer said the Warzone Halloween zombie event was just all around bad. You drop in and almost get got, and then as soon as you were a zombie, you'd get gunned down almost instantly. I feel like the zombies have to be really easy to gun down because there's going to be a bunch of them.
Well, I feel like the zombies were much more difficult to gun down
than he's saying.
Yeah, I had a hard time getting kills with the zombie, but I kind of get what he's saying because I know there's times where I would just run at somebody, and they'd be just pulling like triggers all the way pulled. And
they're just spraying bullets at you.
And I ended up killing them. So it's like, joke's on you guys.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird. For me, just that Warzone hasn't really just been fun for a while. So even putting a different spin on it, for me, it didn't do much. I thought it was an interesting take. I thought it was cool that you could die and come back as a zombie.
Right.
But the playability for me, I played it like once or twice. And then I'm like, I know what I'm in for. I don't need to come back.
Yeah, so that's what I when Left 4 Dead, because Left 4 Dead was basically like that. You could play as the zombies. You could play as the survivors. When I played as the zombies, I'd get gunned down almost immediately.
Yeah, it was so hard to do anything as a zombie in Left 4 Dead.
I was one of the very few games on the PC that I have rage uninstalled.
Really?
Like, I'm so done with this game. I'm closing the window. I'm uninstalling the game right now.
So are you trying to get into the Back 4 Blood?
No, not at all.
No. Oh man, that's one.
No. That game is going to have to look way cooler. It's going to have to be way more fun to play than Left 4 Dead was. And people love Left 4 Dead. It's just not for me, man.
It's funny. Like Left 4 Dead, I'm one of those people that love that game. Al, were you a Left 4 Dead player?
No, that was one that Jefferson had recommended to me when we did a whole segment where I was like, I need a game Jefferson recommended. And that was one. And Mass Effect was another.
Yep.
Mass Effect I played, enjoyed, and just kind of stopped playing, which is my recurring theme. But Left 4 Dead, I don't know. I don't like, I'm just like you, James. I don't like the scary games. So it didn't have anything drawing me to it.
I gotcha. Right. That's funny. Like that's the one game I'll break my scary game rule on is Left 4 Dead. I'll play. Like I'm bummed out. There's a girl that I was messing around with like years ago, and she was like, "You have Left 4 Dead? Yeah, we'll play it." I brought Left 4 Dead 2 over her place. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a hot chick. We're playing this game.
Play video games.
It's awesome.
This is great. Living a dream."
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like I had to ghost her because she got a little too crazy and was ready to move in together. And I'll be honest, ghosting is not the most responsible way to sever ties.
Right.
But I still think about Left 4 Dead 2 is still probably at her apartment. She probably live in her apartment.
Your copy of Left 4 Dead 2.
But my copy of Left 4 Dead 2 is
right.
She still got it. And she probably plays it with the new guy. Which I'm fine with her having a new guy, but it's like
she's cucking you with your version of Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah, kind of. In a way, yeah. I mean, I don't get any pleasure out of it. I'm kind of bummed out about it. I'm sad that somebody else is getting, money's worth out of my $60 that I spent 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could go to a used game store now and get your copy get another new copy of Left 4 Dead 2 for probably less than $10.
Yeah.
But Back 4 Blood's coming out. So
yeah, Back 4 Blood. I applied to be part of the alpha test. I don't think I got it because I think they would have told me on the 17th.
And that's the thing, going back to the Cyberpunk 2077, it's interesting how pissed people are about how broken that game is, but then I'll play something like Phasmophobia and it's still in what's called early release beta testing, and like stuff on that is broken all the time, and I don't care because of the label of like early release beta testing.
Yeah,
it's the whole idea of like I went to the store and spent $60 on a game that was supposed to be finished, and it's similar to what happened with the Avengers game.
Yep.
It's like you guys promised me one thing and delivered something a little bit less than what you promised. I don't know. I'm probably going to end up playing Cyberpunk next year, but you guys know me. I don't play anything until 2 years after it's come out.
Yeah, well, I feel like Cyberpunk's one of those good games to kind of sit on right now. Let them work all the bugs out.
Yeah.
It's like I'd hate buying a brand new car the year it's released.
Yeah.
Because there's always kinks and bugs, and
or the new
kinks
systems.
might not be the right word.
Right.
But, I mean, or maybe it is the right word. But, there's always issues with it. So you let them manufacture them for a couple of years and let other people be the test dummies.
They're blowing up the chat saying there was a woman in Brazil that showed her lady bits on Twitch and got a 3-day ban for it.
Oh, really?
You guys will have to send James that.
Yeah, anybody get a clip of that? I'd use that to argue when I get a ban because I have a man's nipples exposed
right.
on my stream, and I get a 24-hour ban. Yeah, a lady could show full-blown lady parts.
Right. Al, you were telling us that over the holiday season here, you had your nephew over. He was trying the new Spider-Man out.
Yeah, so I got the new Spider-Man, and he was over here, and he spent a bunch of time playing that thing, and he loves it.
Awesome.
From what little bit that I saw, the gameplay looks almost exactly like the Batman Arkham games.
Okay, yep.
Like it's that same exact style. But you'll be happy to know, Chuck, that I bought that with the intention, of course, to play it. And you know how I am, so I'm like, I buy the new Spider-Man game. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I never even played that older Spider-Man game. So I bought that too.
That's funny because I could have let you borrow that one, Al.
Right.
Oh, well, I already I bought it, and I was actually playing it today before we did this.
Oh, nice.
And, dude, I'm having a blast with it.
It's a great game.
It's a lot of fun, and it does look like, from watching Jimmy play,
yeah,
it looks like it's like a continuation. It's just Miles Morales instead, because it looks like it's very much the same gameplay. So pretty cool. I'm excited to get to that.
Yeah, well, it's the same New York, but it's essentially a sequel.
Right?
It's the same New York from the first Spider-Man game, but now you're playing as Miles because Miles is in the first game.
Oh, that's right. I think you told me that there is a moment where you have an interaction with Miles in that one.
So this is a continuation of it. But I love when you get a sequel to a game and they don't change it too much. When they understand that, like, no, you just want more of what you enjoyed. Because when we were talking last year about the WWE 2K games, like they change the controls completely every couple of years, and I'm like, why? Why do I have to learn completely new controls for something? Just give me more of what I like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, exactly. Just improve upon the product that's already there with some small, subtle changes. You don't have to, revamp the entire program.
Right.
I can understand arguments for both sides of that, though, because it's like, I already played this game. You're giving me just the same game, so maybe there's people who don't like. It's not enough of a challenge if you keep it the same. But video games are really, really story driven these days. It's like an interactive movie, and that's kind of what Chuck you're looking for is like. It's just I want to see that second movie.
Yeah,
I want a continuation of the story, and in that case, I don't want the buttons to change. I want to be able to go from the older Spider-Man game and roll right into the new one and just keep the story going.
And it's
so I'm really with you on that, Chuck. But I can see the argument from the other side. Like I already bought this game. Why am I buying it again?
And it's one thing to add new stuff. Like Miles has a different set of spider powers than Peter has. Like, he can do the web swinging and he can punch and kick and he has the spider sense and whatever. But then he's also got like a electro blast that he can do as well. Like adding to the thing I already like is perfectly fine. But Al, you're a football guy. Can you imagine if for the next season the NFL decided that we're going to add robots?
Like to the actual NFL, not Madden?
No, yeah. Like if the NFL said, hey, next year we're going to have robots that just kind of go across the field and like if they completely changed football next season, you'd be like, what the hell?
It does seem like every season there's a new rule or something, and it's extremely frustrating, especially that first season when it is a new rule because you're not used to it. Everyone knows about God, how many years ago was it? But Calvin Johnson got robbed of a touchdown.
Yeah, because the coach called the timeout, right?
I'm talking about the one, the must complete the process of the catch.
Okay.
And I think it was the first game of the season. It was in Chicago.
Yeah.
And he caught the ball and he hit the ground and then he just let the ball go and celebrate his touchdown. But it was the first year and the first time that rule screwed somebody about completing the process of the catch before.
Right.
So like stuff like that happens, and it always seems like the Lions are always the poster child.
I was going to say there's so many tragic things that happen with the Detroit Lions in terms of football rules and getting screwed by the actual.
They will find a way to pull defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, but it is almost, it's funny that you bring that up, though, Chuck, as an analogy, because it is almost a good analogy because, they change all the controls in the game. You do get used to it, and you're able to play the game again.
Right.
But then next year, they change even more rules. So, like, the process of the catch thing, that's been around a while now. We're used to that rule, and it's not jarring when it catches somebody. But then there's always another new rule where, like, well, what the hell? It used to be more fun when it was like this.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why you keep your physical copies of your old games.
Yes.
Because sometimes the older version is way more fun than the original version.
Yes, there's another argument to all those people who are like, just download it digitally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't trust.
I
don't trust the internet.
Steam has been around for over a decade now, and I still think to myself, what happens tomorrow if they just shut down the Steam store? That's like 500 games I don't have anymore.
And you lose them all.
Yeah.
And who do you complain to? You gonna call up the president? Boop 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 boop. Hey, Prez.
I've made that same argument about, because I do have digital stuff through Apple, like movies or whatever.
Sure.
And it's like, well, what's the chances Apple's going to fold in the next whatever many years? So like I feel secure with it, but at the same time, in the 90s, we thought Blockbuster was untouchable.
That's true.
But also, Apple just doesn't have to fold. Like I have an album that I've lost, like out of the 12 tracks, I've lost 10 tracks because the label pulled them or changed them. So if I want them back, Apple informed me that I did not back up my files appropriately. So it's my fault that the label pulled the songs and changed them. And like you can still buy that album. I have that album, like 2 of the songs off the album. I can still buy that album, and get all those songs if I want to buy it again.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why would I do? I've already paid for it once.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that all those services remind you, and it is true, I think it's a little bit criminal that they get away with it, but they aren't doing anything illegal. The thing is, you're not buying the movie or the song, you're buying a license to view it or play the game. It's a license you're buying, and it can be revoked at any time.
Correct.
I love when they remind you that we're not doing anything illegal. It's like it feels like a bully that's holding you by the shirt and punching you in the face, going, "I'm not doing anything illegal."
Yeah.
Or he wouldn't actually be punching you in the face. He'd be holding you up and like he'll be swinging like a ball on a string.
Yeah,
and that's hitting you in the face.
hitting you in the face.
We're just playing racquetball or tetherball.
Amy's in the chat, acronym official, saying that she's so glad they gave you multiple moveset in Tony Hawk. That was really cool. Like you didn't have to learn the new controls for Tony Hawk. You could just set it to Tony Hawk 1 or Tony Hawk 2 controls.
Really? I guess I didn't even realize there was different sets like that. Maybe that's why I suck so much on that new Tony Hawk game. I just realized, I was like, do I just really suck at Tony Hawk, or I just don't really like Tony Hawk?
Right. Moldy Bomber in the chat, too, says he just hates getting up to change games super lazy.
Dude, I hate that part, too, but you know what?
It's so, I will do the same thing and then remind myself, it's like, dude, you lived through having to get up to change the games. Yeah. Just friggin' do it.
Well, here's the thing. If I have to get up to change the game and I'm too lazy, I'm just turning off the system. I'm probably going to another room to watch TV. I'll do something else. But it would still the same amount of work.
I can't tell you. I'm still playing Avengers, and most of the time it's because it's in the PlayStation. And I'm like, well, it's already there. I mean, and it's already fired up. I don't have to wait to fire up Battlefront 2 or, whatever else I want to play. I'll just
probably why I've been playing the hell out of Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, because it's
already
Switch.
downloaded. Yeah, because it came with I bought a Pro controller.
Oh, yeah.
So I bought the Pro controller, and it gave me a code to download the game. And, I love the game. The game is amazing.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But if I had to swap out cards for Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart, I would probably just be playing Mario Kart because I wouldn't feel like getting up and swapping it out to play
You're
Mario.
like, it's already there.
Yeah.
The hell with it. All right, well, we went a little long there, but that's okay. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to talk about the final episode of The Mandalorian. And for the people watching us in the Twitch chat, you've got a pretty cool marathon coming up for the holiday weekend, and I'll tell you about it next.